What's up? It's Marcus here. In this video, I might get into trouble because this is the most in detail breakdown that you can find on this over $100 million brand, over $100 million per year brand. And I really picked them apart. I'm going to show you exactly what are the creative types that are using, what is the ads distribution strategy that they're using, what is their funnel, what is their offer. But this is not everything. I'm going to go into their top of funnel creative strategy, right? So the creatives that have the most spend and that there are the ones that they scale the most. What are the different scripts that they're using, right? How do they cluster that? And how do they serve different avatars? Then, what are the 4 dimensions of their creative strategy that they're going into? Then, one example of how this looks like and how they're actually from one idea creating, 50, 100, or even more creatives so that they total to almost 9,000 creatives that they have live at the moment and essentially testing 50 to 100 creatives or even more per day. Okay. So I'll walk you through all of this and then at the end, I will go into the moat, right? So basically what makes them unique and how do they make sure to run all this whole system? Like what are the systems that they need internally? Let's jump right in. We got a lot to talk about. All right, Rice Superfoods. You might know the brand. Very, very well-known mushroom coffee brand that is essentially the one that has scaled, or one of the ones that scaled the craziest, right? And is still scaling, obviously. Huge creator network that fuels this amount of creatives. I'll talk about this at the end. They take winning angles and scripts and recreate them exactly like the original with different creators that represent different avatars and ethnicities. Angle, avatar-based horizontal scaling strategy. This is what we're going to uncover, right? This is just for you to have an idea. Some specs, as I said, 9,000 ads live every day. I mean, I counted a couple of days manually, literally. And, with all the iterations and all the different creative types, they're totaling to around 100 creatives a day, right? Which is crazy. Okay, so you must be doing, they must be doing low to mid 8 figures per month for sure. And you can find information about that online that they're, 100 million, whatever, or close to 100 million. Most likely they're above that already. Okay, so let's start actually at the funnel. The offer. That's where I always start. If you know my videos and if you know my strategy, if you don't, make sure to subscribe, make sure to go into all of, my most watched videos and just my videos in general, where I share everything I know about e-commerce scaling, which I do, with my own brands and also other brands that I'm coaching, teaching. Offer. Option 1, single bag subscription. Why do we start at the offer? I always start at the offer because if this is not right, you can do everything else right. If this is wrong, you can have the right creatives, funnel, or whatever, it's not going to work. And you can see this here, right? So single bag subscription, 25% off. One-time options are very, very hidden. So you can buy them technically as a one-time option, but you don't see this option on their page, okay? You literally have to go to all products and then you can buy it, one time. So basically they're pushing a subscription-only offer in their funnel. This is very important. Okay, you can see here, price point $27, single bag. At the same time, you see multiple options, right? And this is something that I always come back to, right? Don't give just one option, just one low priced option. Out of all the people that visit your site, all of the people that purchase, at the moment, your single bag, there might be, a percentage that would be open to purchase more, to pay more, and also get more value. And then there's a smaller percentage that pays even more and also gets more, right? So they do a great job of this here because here you see 25% off, okay? Then on the same page, when you just scroll down, you have the ritual set subscription, which is 42% off, okay? This is a higher price point, right? More than double, but you also save way more, right? So you just get way more free gifts, okay? Free gifts, again, this is a pattern that you see a lot of times. Instead of just slashing the prices, which cuts into your margin, add those free gifts that in some cases they don't cost anything, right? They don't cost you anything. In some cases they cost very little, right? Or you just have the products on stock anyways and they're not moving, right? So obviously you want to give great gifts, but what I'm saying here is, for example, this, I don't know, spoon and scoop, this might cost them not even $1, right? But they're pricing it obviously at a certain price that you would pay for it if it was a single product. And if you add all of these gifts up, then you see, wow, that's actually like a $40 value, $42 value, okay, that you get for free. Then there's a starter kit subscription, which is 25% off as well. Here, actually lower price point than the one before. Some gifts less, right? But just a different type. Actually, yeah, two servings. Let me see here. Also 2 servings. Okay, they have a super cream. There you have the creamer, the superfood creamer. Here you don't have it. Okay, so what I want to say is offer 3 different options. Okay, very, very smart. Now let's go to the funnel. Okay, so this one we just covered. That's the product page. All of their traffic, essentially all of their traffic, they have some exceptions where they send to specific bundles, but most of the traffic is going to their homepage, which is nothing else than a landing page. Okay, this is designed to be a landing page, and the main outclick, which you can see also here above the fold, which is great mobile, sends to the product page, right? So probably 80-90% of their traffic goes to the homepage, then goes to the product page. Okay, very simple, very simple. It's also something that we saw in another breakdown of Javi Coffee. Very, very simple funnel. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting. Okay, ads distribution strategy. They have their brand page, right? This is where they have most of their most of their ads live. Then they have whitelisting and partnership ads, right? As you can see here, Shroom Morning, Nina Ortega, Chanti, UGC, right? So you can see already they're working with UGC creators. Here, when you did the research, I did the research. This is an actress, okay, that they work with, and they seem to have like an exclusive deal with her because they're running ads through her profile. Then you have passion pages, right? So passion pages, again, I talk about it a lot. Mushroom and coffee with shrooms, and you can see that they're pushing, their ads there, potentially ads that perform really well, right? And they just want to, give them more exposure. This is where you can see these passion pages. They're not as heavy on the passion pages as, for example, Javi Coffee at that moment, but some of them just recently started. So it could be that they're just ramping it up, okay? So, but most of the ads, like 99% of the ads or 95% of the ads were on brand pages and some partnership ads as well. Okay, creative types. Now, creator mini VSLs between 40 seconds and 2.5 minutes, right? So this is really interesting, okay? Because what they do amazingly well is they're essentially using direct response scripts or direct response creatives, right? So essentially really like, straight to the point, copywriting that is literally designed to make someone purchase on that first session, right? That's the idea. And they still do it in a brand way, okay? Which is really interesting, right? And this seems to be working amazingly well because that's the most part of the creatives when it comes to the high spending creatives as well. Those are those mini VSLs. Then you have AI voiceovers, right? So this is essentially pretty much always the same type of ad, which is this is how you would change if you would take this mushroom coffee. So when you look at this, at the scripts, right, at the way they are written, it's more of a middle of funnel creative, right? So basically for people that have seen, some of these ads that, basically resonate with their target audience or with their avatar. And then there's obviously skepticism, okay? So okay, I don't know. Yeah, it could be, but I don't really trust it. So what do you do, or what do they do, is basically that they have AI voiceovers that tell people, they walk people through what would happen if you would, take these mushrooms for 30 days straight, okay? And then they basically visualize, okay, those are all the changes that you would be experiencing. Those are all the pain points that you would not have anymore. and then close the loop basically and send them back to the offer. Very interesting, right? Very interesting concept. Then obviously offer ads, right? So premium pack ads. Also, they have specific ads that go to their premium packs that have a higher AOV. Are also subscriptions, right? And very simple, offer ads. Obviously, a bunch of static ads that they're testing. Obviously, with the offer again. Then they have some high-end branding ads, right? That they launched. I think most of them they launched in this year, right? Which is also interesting because it's kind of like it's the complete opposite of running these direct response ads, right? Which are very like straight to the point, going for the sale right now. These branding ads are, it's just branding, right? It's literally a little mushroom that they call an Arai, I think that's the name. And he's just like, walking around and making people mushroom coffee. And people are happy after that, right? So it has nothing to do with selling or anything. But still, super interesting that they brought this into the mix. Potentially also just to reach a different type of audience and to just appear as a really, really strong brand. Interesting. Then they have some celebrity ads as well that you can see, and anti-Amazon ads was also something that I saw, which was really interesting. Okay, now we went through the creative types. Now let's look at the top of funnel creative strategy. Actually, I put links. Yeah, you see this, like these little blue Facebook things. Those are links to the actual Facebook post, right? Where you can watch the creative. You can even see the comments and all of that stuff. Just for you as a side note. Now, what I wanted to understand is what are the main creatives here, right? What is running the traffic, right? So you might see this creative, the creative types. Okay, cool. But what are the ones that really move the needle? And that's when you look at, ad spy tools like Ad Spy, for example. That's how I analyze, okay, what are the main ads? And then I try to categorize them and to understand, okay, what's the pattern here, right? Because if you have 9,000 ads live and you're launching 100 ads a day, nobody can tell me that this is just random and somebody wakes up, today and is like, oh, we got to do 100 ads. No, you have a system behind that, right? There's always a system behind it that you can replicate, that you can scale, right? And those are the building blocks that I found. Okay, so basically they have a couple of different scripts. They might have more, right? But those were the ones that I found most relevant. So they have one script, for example, that is named, here's how X damages your Y, right? So here's how alcohol damages your liver, for example, right? And then they go into, what happens there, how does it work actually? So they start with a very educational beginning of those ads, and they introduce the product, maybe in the middle of the creative, right? Which, when you look at these ads, they're like 230 long, 230, 240, you see? So the product gets introduced very late. And this is something that I also teach all of my brands that I'm mentoring in the one-on-one and also in the group. I always tell them, like, these top of funnel ads, like, people, they don't want to see ads, okay? They're not on the platform to see ads and to get, sold something. That's not what they want. So what we need to do, we need to earn our right to pitch our products. And this is something that a lot of brands do wrong, not only brands, but also, agencies and whoever is running ads. They come from their product perspective and are basically saying, this is the best product in the world. Like, get straight to the product and purchase this product, right? But people don't want to hear that, or very, very few people of your total addressable market want to hear this message, right? They are not on the platform to receive this message. So what do? You create ads that actually, educate, right? Primarily educate, and in the beginning actually resemble more an organic reel or an organic post that somebody could have posted, where they're just educating people about something, right? About a pain point and about how this pain point, where this comes from, how to resolve it. And then once you've done that, that's where you earn the right to position your product, right? So this is something that it's actually funny because in many ads, it's literally like half, right, of these top of funnel ads. So here it's like after 1 minute and 15 seconds or 1 minute, that's where you see the product the first time introduced, right? And this is really the main skill when it comes to these top of funnel ads. I have a video also on my channel where I talk about unaware ads or problem aware ads. So yeah, just as a side note, here the interesting part is this is one script. Here's how alcohol damages your liver, and here's how high blood sugar damages your nerves. Okay, the interesting thing is it's the exact same script. The only thing that changes is the pain point or the angle. We'll get to that in a second. Now, second script, red flags of X. If you're dealing with pain X, Y, Z, 3 signs, this is how, right? So those are very similar concepts again. But here you can see, even just visually, red flags of kidney inflammation, red flags of high cholesterol, right? Those are pretty much the same exact scripts, right? They might have some variations here or there, but they're pretty similar. Here, 3 signs, you have stuck poop in your colon, right? Also here, similar length of creatives, right? Next one, you don't have X, you have Y, you're not fat, you just have too much, blah, 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 right? So you don't have a dad bod, you just have a parasite pouch. You're not fat, you just have too much cortisol. You don't have gut inflammation, you just have parasites. Very interesting concept, because what this script does essentially, is that it takes away, it puts down the guards, right? So this is kind of like what people want to hear, right? If somebody's fat, they want to hear, you're not fat, it's not your fault, it's just because you have too much cortisol, right? That's like what people want to hear that are in this condition, because they're like, I knew, right? True, then there has to be something that is wrong, but it's not me, right? Here, for example, also, you don't have a dad bod, you just have a parasite pouch, okay? So a dad bod, you cannot fix a dad bod, but you can fix a parasite pouch, right? And that's a very interesting, because this target is specifically unaware people, right? So those are people, they don't even know that they have a problem, right? Or not necessarily what kind of problem, right? And this here enables you to bring people into that problem awareness space where they can say, hey, babe, I have a parasite pouch. Did you know that I have a parasite pouch? And now I can find a solution to that parasite pouch, which in their case, obviously is their product, okay? And this is also what led me to breaking down their 4 dimensions of creative strategy, okay? So you can see that they have different dimensions, how they can categorize their creatives, okay? So one is a physical pain point, a physical symptom, right? So this would be something like nerve pain, tingling, bloating. Those are actually the ones that I watched pretty much, I don't know, I wouldn't say all of their ads, but a big chunk of their ads until I didn't find anything new anymore. But those are all the pain points that I found, all the health issues that I found, right? So basically they're connecting bloating, brain fog, out of breath, constant fatigue, low stamina, low energy, joint pain, whatever. Like those are these symptoms that they connect to an underlying health issue, right? So a script might be something like, hey, 3 signs that you might have kidney inflammation, and then they're talking about your gut might be bloating, your urine might be what is that? Yeah, your urine might be, have a dark color, and you might have lower back pain. This could be, those could be signs for kidney inflammation, okay? So you basically take them from their physical symptoms and tell them the reason for all of that is an underlying health issue like liver function, kidney inflammation, lung function, constant fatigue, you name it, right? So those are things that they're trying to target there. And again, you see it's very educational, right? You're trying to connect these physical pains to an underlying health issue, right? I mean, not saying that this is always like legally the right thing to do, right? I'm not talking about this now. I'm literally just analyzing the system behind all these creatives that they're doing. Now, then another dimension is essentially the avatar, right? So who has these physical pains and who has these underlying health issues? It might be a woman in menopause. It might be a man over 60. It might be men women post-menopause. Excuse me. It might be alcohol drinkers, right? So for example, when you look at this here, we're talking about kidney inflammation, but one talks to I would say like mid-aged man, right? Could be 40, 50, probably around 50. And the same, like we're targeting the same health issue with a woman in their menopause, okay? Right. So two completely different avatars and at the same exact health issue, the same exact script at the end of the day. I mean, maybe a little bit applied to the avatar, but pretty much the same script structure. And then they also play a lot with ethnicity / just the creator, right? The type of creator. Because at the end of the day, we want to have a UGC creator, actor, whatever, to represent the people that we want to reach, right? Because this helps the people that are seeing these ads to just resonate, not only when it comes to the script, to the structure, and so on and so forth, but also just to the person that is presenting that, right? And this is where they play a lot with, African American, Asian, Caucasian. You can see this here. Great example, right? Same exact script, right? You're not fat, you just have too much cortisol. And you see this guy here, and you see an Asian woman here, okay? So that's also a dimension that they're actively exploring. As I said, this is about identification with which creator can the most people identify the most, okay? And this all flows into the same exact product, right? This is the product that they're selling, and this product, they're positioning it for all these things, okay? Now, let's do a quick breakdown, and this is something that I want you to take away from this video, because this is like, okay, this is all nice, cool, they're doing that, but how can I do it for me? Okay, let's assume you have a product and you have a, in this case, like health condition, right, where you can connect this product to, right? In this case, it's a health condition. It could also be, when we're talking about skincare, it could be, wrinkles, for example, or it could be something like dark spots, right? Or it could be joint pain, right? Just, let your imagination play. Think about something that is actually, could make sense for you. Let's say from research, I identified kidney inflammation as the next health condition I want to position my product for. Okay, so this is not, they just don't come up with these health conditions like, oh, let's try this, oh, let's try that. No, they definitely researched, looking at the ingredients that they have, looking at reviews that people, have, looking at studies, right? Looking at where the market goes, what demands are, what pain points are that people have, and where my product can actually work. Then they identified this, okay? Then I defined 3 main top of funnel scripts that I want to produce, just to simplify it here. Okay, so those are three scripts that I know, best case, I already know those ones, those are the scripts that are working. Where do I get these scripts from? From breakdowns like this one, okay? Or you do your own research, obviously, and just figure out what are top of funnel scripts that seem to be crushing it. Or you already have some that are validated for you. Those get adjusted to all the relevant avatars I can target. Next step, okay, so now I see, okay, those 3 scripts, this is the health condition, this is avatar 1, this is avatar 2, again, very simplified, okay? And then now I bring in multiple creators with different ethnicities, different styles to understand which one is working best and cover as much ground as possible, okay? This is the next step where you now say, okay, let's look at the avatar women 30 to 50. This is creator Julia. She's Afro-American, 34 years old. Lisa, Caucasian 38, Daniela, Caucasian 28, Jess, Asian 43, right? And what you do then basically is you give them the script, and this is something that I've also realized from the ads. I mean, those were not, let's say, the scripts that were crushing the most, but they also just give the creators, let's say, a more loose briefing, it seems, right? Where they just tell them, hey, here's some rough guidelines, just do some stuff on your own that you think could work. Or they give them some trendy creative types that they see trending, tell them to recreate that. Why this is interesting is that this really enables serendipity, right? So creators can just come up with ideas by themselves. I mean, they have the product, they have the lighting setup, all of this stuff. So while they're shooting, why not just add a couple of other ideas? Because eventually one of those might be going crazy, right? So this way, you always keep this structured approach, scripted approach, but then you also open up the door for serendipity, so you can just find one, crazy thing, and then maybe script 6 becomes a hit throughout multiple creators, and for the next briefing, you integrate script 6 again. Right, as well. So this way, you increase your pool of working creatives and working scripts, right? And as you can see, you do the same thing for the men. And now let's do the math. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 times 6. That's 48 creatives. Okay, from one idea, from one angle, we get 48 creatives, and we didn't even add the static ads yet. Okay, so this way you can see how you can very easily come up with a bunch of creatives, right, from one core idea, right? And this is exactly what Meta wants us to do with the Andromeda update. I did a video on this. If you haven't watched it, make sure to watch it. I'll make sure to link it. If not, check it out on my channel. And this is exactly what Meta wants us to do. More volume, more variety, okay? Now, let's go to the meat and the moat, so to say. Okay, so this brand has built a content machine with processes on what content to get from who and how, so they can sustain feeding the acquisition with hundreds of fresh new creatives every single month. Okay, this is what happens. Actually, hundreds per day, even like 100 a day. Right? That would be 3,000 creators a month. Pretty good rate. But what they are adding is scaling across multiple different angles, pain points, and scaling these pain points across multiple avatars and ethnicities if possible. This creates multiple layers of scale, and they're maximizing winning scripts in multiple dimensions. The angle part must be powered by a very strong internal research process that identifies potential angles and determines if they can connect their product to this angle. What are the sources for content that they tap into? Definitely some type of in-house creators, right? So you see, as I watch a lot of creatives there, you see the same creators come back over and over and over again, talking about different health conditions, different pain points, basically performing different scripts, right? But they're the same creators, right? So either there are, let's say, in-house creators that are hired, or they're just actors, but they have some type of contact with them. So they have fixed content creators in a way. So this is something that you definitely see, right? And this makes sense at a certain scale, just to have more certainty, maybe potentially even have exclusivity with some of these creators, so they're not like on multiple different brands and people get confused, but you have the exclusivity there. And yeah, obviously in different avatars. Okay, then also just UGC creators, actors, as I said, right? You see this also with the partnership ads, right? So those might be just like one-time engagements, right? Or just a couple of times, nothing really regular. They definitely also work with agencies, right, at this scale. So this might be mixed in there. But you can definitely see either it's an agency running it or it's them themselves. It's definitely a set of creators that comes back over and over and over again. Okay. Makes sense also because they know the product, they know how to present the product. You have a lot of B-roll of these people already, so then it becomes easier and easier to actually pump out scripts, right? Then obviously they iterate on winning concepts, right? Once a winning angle is identified, we see them recreating the same exact winning script across multiple creators that represent different avatars and ethnicities, right? And they identify new pain point angles, right? They constantly test new health-related pain points that they can connect with their product as the solution, right? Here you have it, $100 million strategy broken down. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe if you liked it. I hope so. Let me know all your questions in the comments, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more of that, let me know. Right, I'll prepare more of those breakdowns. And yeah, if you need help scaling your e-commerce brand to $1 million a month, and you're in the supplement, skincare, and just reusable product, consumable product niche, I'll leave a link down below. You can click the first link in the description and apply and see if I can help you there. All right. See you in the next one. Thank you.